All right, Larry Krueger here for the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Check out Pig in a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Go say hi to Damon, go say hi to Mary, get some brisket chili. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And this video is brought to you by Mancini's Sleep World. Mancini's is now a proud sponsor of the Krueger Show. Mancini's offers a 120-night guarantee with a range of brands and price points. With Mancini's, you get free next-day delivery. I am loving my Mancini's bed. It's phenomenal. Click the link below or go to sleepworld.com and find a bed that works for you. Whether shopping online or visiting in-store, all you got to do is use the code KRUG10 and you'll get 10% off. That's KRUEG10, KRUG10, and you'll get 10% off. That's KRUEG10 to get 10% off in-store or online at sleepworld.com. All right, well, Kyle Shanahan spoke to the media today for the first time since the Niners took down the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football, and he started with some injuries. Matthew Wright, the kicker, is got a dislocated shoulder. He had a great day, 3 field goals, but he's got a dislocated shoulder, and it's to be determined whether or not he's going to play against Kansas City. He did a really good job. They'll probably either have to have another tryout or they'll just call somebody back, whoever the second best kicker was in that tryout. But a dislocated shoulder probably means he's hurt and significantly and won't play against Kansas City and probably won't kick going forward. So obviously a rough break for Wright. But there's no determination yet on who the next kicker will be, but it sounds like it probably won't be Matthew Wright. Ricky Pearsall had his practice window open. Now the Niners have 3 weeks from today to either activate him to the active roster, and if not, they have to put him on injured reserve, and he'll be lost for the year. So they have a 3-week window where they can activate Pearsall, and I would imagine they will. He should be able to help them significantly in the red zone because of his route running ability. J.P. Mason has an AC joint sprain. He's considered day-to-day. His status is not yet determined for the Kansas City game, but obviously it was too much pain for him to come in and play last night with the injury. We'll see how it goes. Mooney Ward's got a knee injury. He's also day-to-day. Malik Mustafa's got a low ankle sprain, not a high ankle sprain, a low ankle sprain, and he also is day-to-day. Kyle was asked about the job that the backup running backs did, and he said, Guerendo and Taylor did an excellent job. Guerendo had the long run late. Taylor had a couple of really, really nice plays, one catch, one nice run. Both those guys, Kyle said, did a really good job filling in as RB1 for Jordan Mason. And that really does tell you how loaded the 49ers are. McCaffrey was the best running back in football. J.P. Mason has been their starter this year. He's the leading rusher in the NFL. So they've had great running back depth. Elijah Mitchell's done for the year. He's a solid running back. Now they're on Guerendo and Patrick Taylor. You also have Keyshawn Vaughn, who might be probably better than those guys. I mean, he's definitely more experienced and is a little bit more natural has natural running back instincts. So look for Keyshawn Vaughn to get called off the practice squad with the injury to Mason if Mason can't go against Kansas City. Kyle was asked about Malik Collins. Is Malik Collins far better than you thought when you saw him on film? And Kyle's like, well, I really had high expectations of him when I saw him on film. But the one thing that stood out to Kyle or stands out to Kyle about Malik Collins is the consistency. He's like, day after day, this guy's a pro's pro. He's really been a pleasant surprise. So the Niners had high expectations for him based on their evaluations of his film in Houston and in Dallas before that. But now getting the chance to be around him every day, they really love his consistency and how he's the same guy every day, and he's a real pro. Nick Bosa had a phenomenal game. He had 4 tackles and no sacks, but the stat sheet really didn't show the fact that he set the edge. He was great against the run. The defensive line as a group played incredibly well, but Bosa led the way with 14 pressures. He had one of his best days as a pro. Kyle was asked about the replay, which obviously, they blew it. The replay officials blew it in New York. They're supposed to be the last line of defense in this endless pursuit of getting every call right. We have replay because we seek to get more calls right. We have the replay booth because supposedly they have angles that the rest of us can only dream of. And yet the people on the couch got better angles than the people in New York. Is that really the case? And that has really happened? Yes, that really happened. So it was a bad night for the NFL as far as the credibility of their replay system overall. He was asked if he's going to get an apology from the NFL, and he laughed. He's like, no, you're not going to get an apology. He's like, it's just time to move on. It was a mistake. It was made. It didn't cost us. We're moving on. Kyle lauded the secondary. No Mooney Ward, and yet Renardo Green, Diamador Lenore, and Malik Mustafa all stepped up and played exceptional football. And he singled each one of those guys out individually. He was asked about, that some of Matthew Wright's kickoffs didn't go through the back of the end zone. And he was asked, are you trying to, do something else and not kick it out of the back of the end zone? And Kyle made it perfectly clear. He said, we always want to kick it out of the back of the end zone. They want to kick it out of the back of the end zone and have the other team take it on the 30-yard line. It's as simple as that. It's only a 5-yard difference. Why would you risk anybody returning one on you when you could kick it through the back of the end zone? But obviously Wright doesn't have the leg strength to do that in every one of his kicks. But Kyle made it perfectly clear that while he likes the fact that Wright made 3 field goals and looked good, and the bottom line is they want those kickoffs going out the back of the end zone. He also credited the offensive line for a great night against Seattle. Seattle's defensive line had no sacks of Brock Purdy. The 49ers ran the ball at will and for big yardage and for great individual, very efficiently as well. So you run it efficiently, you run it for big yardage, you protect your quarterback. Yeah, it's a good day at the office for the offensive line, and Kyle said so. Once again on Jordan Mason, it's an AC joint sprain. He's day-to-day. But as far as this week, it sounds like he may miss the Kansas City game. That's just my speculation. As far as the players, they're giving the players, Friday. The players are off today. The players are off Saturday. The players are off on Sunday, and they'll reconvene on Monday. So just, a few days to get out of the office, handle some, whatever you got to handle with your family and life and that kind of thing. But the players now have 3 days to kind of regroup before they're going to be back in the facility on Monday, getting ready for Kansas City. And also Christian McCaffrey's practice window is not going to be opened. He's just not ready to return. We're talking about an Achilles tendonitis in both legs. I would say, it's one thing to quiet the pain down. I would say if the 49ers, how should they go about things with McCaffrey? Just bank that he's out for the year and be pleasantly surprised if he isn't. If you really are going to count on him, I think you're going to be disappointed just because the nature of this injury, it's very serious and it's very painful, I'm sure. And it's also sounds like it's chronic. It's like it's not going away. It's literally, Achilles tendonitis. And so he's just going to have to deal with it. And they can get the pain quieted down, but then they're going to try to ramp him up while keeping the pain quieted down. I would say if he gives you 3 or 4 games this year, you're lucky, and don't bank on it because, be pleasantly surprised. If, don't bank on him, and if he surprises you, great. If you bank on him every week and he keeps saying, not ready, I think after a while it starts to become a kind of a downer for the rest of the team. So, but yeah, that was the last note here, is that CMC's practice window is not going to be opened, at least not this week. All right, that does it for the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to Mancini's for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.